Oxford United had conceded just 5 goals at home all season in the Championship. Well, that was until Middlesbrough rocked up last Saturday and Michael Carrick's side put 6 past them, meaning that they've now scored 15 goals in their last 3 league games. To put it quite simply, Middlesbrough can't stop scoring at the moment, and which is quite interesting because until about 3 weeks ago, it seemed that this team was allergic to the back of the net. Before the 5th of November, when Borough beat QPR 4-1, Carrick's side had accumulated a total XG of 24.47 in the opening 13 games of the Championship, whilst only scoring 14 goals, meaning that they were underperforming their expected goals by over 10. However, as we said before, they've gone on to score 15 in 3 games, so something is finally clicking. But what is it? How has Michael Carrick got his side performing so well that they've created so many high-value chances in pretty much every single game they've played, with them having the highest XG in the entirety of the English second tier? And how is he getting the most out of some really talented players in this side, from the likes of Ben Doak, Finn Azaz, Latte Lath, players like Hayden Hackney, who have actually been absent during this really impressive run? Well, lucky for you, we're going to sit down and analyse the brilliance of Michael Carrick's system, the brilliance of some of them players in that team, and why Middlesbrough cannot stop scoring. I want to start today's video by saying that Carrick's wand hasn't been waving for just this season. He's been building and succeeding with Middlesbrough for over 2 years now. Carrick picked up his job on Teesside back in October of 2022 after a short stint as caretaker manager of Manchester United. As soon as he joined, he made an instant impact. He won the most points out of a Middlesbrough manager in the opening 10 games with 21 since 1994, when Brian Robson was in charge of Borough. So, as I'm sure you can all tell, Michael Carrick has been a core part of this upwards trajectory of Middlesbrough and is still a core part of the project that they've been building. I mean, they've been through quite a few big players, really. We've had the likes of Chuba Akpom's been there, Aaron Ramsey's been there. Now we've got players like Latte Lath. There's been a lot of rotation in the great quality that Carrick's had, yet he's still found ways to consistently get really positive things from his squad. However, we're going to put the past in the past, because the most important thing is the here and now. So let's delve into the 24/25 Michael Carrick's Borough. This season, Middlesbrough have been one of the most attractive and entertaining sides in England, playing a brand which blends possessional dominance with forward-thinking, aggressive football. Borough sit 5th in the Championship for highest average possession with 56.2%. However, they also have the most shots on target in the league, the most fast break shots in the league, and have attempted and completed the most final third passes in the division as well. So for me, them stats say that Michael Carrick isn't just about, having a lot of the ball, controlling the game through possession. No, his philosophy and his system more so orientates about how can they be the most efficient, how they can create the highest volume of possible chances, rather than just, keeping the ball for the sake of it. It's actually about having intent with the ball and doing meaningful things with the ball. He doesn't want his side to waste moments with the ball. He always wants something to come from the possession that Middlesbrough have, which I think is really nice to see, and especially in the current Championship, is something a little bit different from many of the sides in this league. So, how does Michael Carrick sustain this frontline pressure and the creativity in that front line? Well, this season, Middlesbrough have used a base lineup of a 4-2-3-1 with an attack full of creativity and spatial fluidity. Players like Azaz and Loney Ben Doak have really thrived in the way that Carrick has deployed them this season, but we'll touch on them too in a lot more depth for later on in the video, because I really like them. They're really exciting. Come on. Azaz and Ben Doak are two of probably the most exciting and fun to watch players in this league. When Middlesbrough have the ball, we often see this 3-4-3 in kind of the first, maybe second phases of the game, with Ben Doak extending to join the front line once the ball has made it into more attacking areas, and therefore creating more of this 2-4-4 shape. The 3-4-3 has been kind of branded as the Ruben Amorim system with him joining Manchester United, but Michael Carrick's deployment of it is a lot more complex than just saying it's a 3-4-3. Probably is the easiest way to say it, but with Michael Carrick, there's so many variations of that system. You know, we could have a 2-4-4, or we could have a 2-3-5, or a simple 3-4-3. It changes a lot depending on the game state. The only thing that's really a mainstay is having them 3 players kind of floating around them central striker areas, obviously with Latilaf leading the line and 2 10s surrounding him. But nevertheless, I do feel like we are seeing an emergence of the 3-4-3 as a system that's used by quite a few almost younger coaches coming through. And what is important to understand is why are they using it? Specifically, why is Michael Carrick using that system? The 3-4-3 in possession allows Middlesbrough to deploy basically 2 number 10s, with them both having the autonomy to float between the lines and also play off the centre forward in Latilaf. As if we look up the heat maps of both Finn Azaz and Delano Bergzorg from the game against Oxford show us. The beauty of this 3-4-3 when Middlesbrough have the ball is that although players do have their own duties in specific areas they're supposed to be in, they're not tied down to them. And as I said before about Azaz and Bergzorg having a bit of autonomy to kind of just float about and do what they want, whether it is coming off Latilaf or coming a bit deeper or going between the lines, a lot of the players, specifically in attack and even in midfield, have that free license to kind of just pick up different areas. The majority of this Borough team are allowed to float between different sections. However, a role that is incredibly important to me when I'm watching this Middlesbrough team is that role of the wing-back. Due to the left winger coming inside to become that kind of number 10 in possession, and Azaz occupying the right half space to be that second number 10, the players in the traditional wing-back positions of this 3-4-3 have a lot of running to do in possession in order to maintain that dominance that Middlesbrough look to play with. We see here that Jonathan Howson receives the ball in a central area, and instantly the left back, who is stepped up to become pretty much the left wing back kind of in this system, Neto Borges, is off and running, trying to get in behind this defence and get on the blind side of the Oxford defender, and he does it really well. He drags the Oxford right back all over the place, and then when he receives the ball, he's explosive, he's direct, and he gets himself into the box and looks to hit the byline. He then cuts it back, it doesn't result in a goal, but this move is something that is so common in Middlesbrough's play. They look to hit the byline with them wingers, so to speak, in this team so often. It's also the same on the other side of the pitch. If we're going from Neto Borges to the other side, on the right hand side with Ben Dowick, if we pull up his heat map from the last 3 games, again, he's pretty much primarily in that kind of right corner, kind of running in from high up on the right wing onto the byline and looking to really get in behind the defence and exploit that space really close to the touchline. Now, ladies and gents, that is what you call a smooth transition, because that allows us to move on to our first player up for discussion in today's video, Liverpool loanee Ben Dowick. The arrival of the 19-year-old Scottish winger has been huge for Middlesbrough, as he's pretty much instantly became one of the best players in the side and one of the most adored players, and rightly so, because honestly, the Scotsman is bloody brilliant. In 9 starts and roughly 750 minutes of Championship football, Dowick has 4 goal contributions, meaning he's averaging a goal contribution every 187 minutes, which certainly isn't bad for someone in his position, which sees him playing extremely wide. And then when you also consider he's just 19 years old, them numbers look really strong. However, it's not just Borough fans and it's not just opposition fans that notice the quality of Dowick. The qualities he possesses to excel in wide areas is obviously something Michael Carrick looks to make the most of, with the young winger taking an average of 53.28 touches per 90 and averaging the most touches in the opposition's penalty box per 90 out of any Middlesbrough player. However, the thing I like the most about the teenage Scotsman is his ability to beat a player. He is absolutely electric. With the role that Carrick has Ben Dowick in, he has to be good at taking a man on 1v1, as Middlesbrough do often look to shift the ball to that right hand side as a primary way of breaking into the final third, and they do this by getting Dowick isolated with the defender. This season he's averaged 2.76 successful dribbles per 90 and created 2.5 chances per 90, which is really good going, and I honestly think he's a player that is built for this type of role. He's small, he's nimble, he's really fast, and he's deceptively quite strong. So I think he really does suit that role, which expects him to be able to burst past players consistently and on a regular basis really well. He's perfect for it. Moving on though, I want to talk about another player that is so important to this team, and that is Finn Azaz. The 24-year-old probably had his best game of the season on Saturday, scoring twice and grabbing 2 assists. But his game doesn't just stop at his season tally of 12 goal contributions. His all-round game is so important to the way in which Middlesbrough play. If we look at this chart on screen now, it shows that he sits in some of the top percentiles compared to other midfielders/wingers in the Championship, and shows again that he's probably one of the best attacking-minded midfielders that you could ask for in the English second tier. If we pull up Azaz's heat map from this season, we see that despite him being that right number 10 in possession, he can also often be seen to be coming deeper to get on the ball and progress the ball. So far in the 24/25 season, Azaz has averaged 5.97 progressive passes per 90, a whopping 5.83 shot creating actions per 90, 3.17 key passes per 90, 3.6 passes into the final third per 90, and he sits in the top 11% of attacking midfielders in Europe's other 14 leagues, 4 passes received per 90. His ability to progress play and be really important in the final third through his broad passing range and his ability to beat a man is really good. Don't get me wrong, it's really important to this team. But for me, the most important thing about Azaz's game to Carrick is how good he is technically in receiving the ball. He can receive the ball in them half spaces high up the pitch and receive the ball under pressure. He can also recycle the ball really well and come deep to hunt for the ball in the deeper phases of play. He has a really nice tempo to his game, and also his technical ability is so good that means he can receive the ball in so many different areas of the pitch and often do really well. But something interesting to note is that the 2 players that we've just mentioned there both play on the right hand side of this team. It's interesting, isn't it? Ben Doak and Finn Azaz both occupy obviously the right 10 role with Azaz and that kind of right winger role with Ben Doak. It's interesting, that, isn't it? Because if you've watched Middlesbrough this season, you'll see that a lot of their play is emphasised on giving the ball to that right-hand side and getting both Azaz and Ben Doak in possession. Therefore, it really is no surprise that Finn Azaz and Ben Doak are Borough's biggest chance creators, with Finn Azaz having the most chances created in the squad with 44, and Ben Doak creating the second most chances in the squad with 21. The only real issue that I've seen people have with Michael Carrick is maybe that Borough aren't too good defensively. I mean, they've conceded the 9th least goals in the league, which does leave them outside of kind of the playoff region, but it's kind of unfair in my opinion to put that down to Michael Carrick. They've conceded the 3rd lowest XG in the league, only bettered by Leeds and Burnley, so I don't think that the so-called defensive issues fall on the shoulders of Carrick, but maybe more so on the goalkeeper, or maybe even that's a bit harsh, maybe more so just the fact that they've conceded a few worldies, they've been a little bit unlucky at times, and them goals that they've conceded that have kind of inflated their XG, they're not things that are going to happen every single week, because the system that they're playing is actually pretty solid defensively, and they've been playing lately with some big injuries. We've said, Morris was absent against Oxford, I believe, Hackney has an injury until about mid-December apparently, and Vandenberg, who is a really good centre-half, he's also injured as well, I believe, or has been injured. So, you throw in your best double pivot back in then, probably a few weeks' time, maybe we'll have Vandenberg whenever he's back fit, and that defence again gets even better, then what it has really been, it's not actually been all that bad. Moving back onto players though, and a final one I want to look at is Latte Lath, because his kind of story this season with Middlesbrough, again, is really interesting. It's a bit of a strange one, because Latte Lath was almost set to leave Middlesbrough back in the summer. It's a bit of a strange one with Latte Lath, because he was almost set to leave Middlesbrough back in the summer, and there were reports suggesting his head was turned, and then you had a few bad performances from the Ivorian striker, where he played a big part in that lack of goals in the squad that we mentioned earlier, going 12 games without finding the back of the net at one stage. However, he's now back in the goals. He scored 7 this season, which is nearly halfway to his tally of 18 last season, and that tally of 18 last season shows us he can score goals. When he's on it, he's really on it. Latte Lath will get you goals in the Championship, and once he's kind of clicked, got his confidence back, got his head back screwed on, and is back focused on Middlesbrough, he's playing really well and scoring goals for absolute fun. You do not want to be left 1v1 with Latte Lath, because he's strong, he's fast, he's tricky. And Tedamengi was left like a rhino, according to Tony Mowbray. But on top of his attacking contribution, he also offers quite a lot defensively as well. He is a defensive contributor, and he works hard as well off the ball. The centre forward wins just under 1 tackle per 90, wins 5.87 of his aerial and ground duels per 90 with a 46.2% win rate. He offers a lot rather than just necessarily being a goal machine, and I know he scored a massive amount of goals last season and he's still on a pretty good goal scoring record this season. I believe he's pretty much on track with his expected goals despite that poor run of goal scoring earlier on in the season. But again, he's good out of possession, or at least decent out of possession. Good might be a bit too far. And then in possession, away from just scoring, he's also really important. He does really well to hold up the ball for himself and runners around him. He can come a bit deeper, receive it, and bounce it off to them two number 10s supporting him. And he can create chances for other people due to that tricky element of his game. Overall, I've been super impressed with Middlesbrough, and I've really enjoyed going back and watching their games back in order to analyse Carrick's system and the players, because they really are so entertaining. I do feel like this is the start of a really good season for Middlesbrough. They obviously had a rough start, but they were still playing well, just not scoring goals. And I was pretty amazed when I saw a few Middlesbrough fans on Twitter that were calling for his head at some stages. They wanted Carrick gone. And I know they were quickly kind of laughed at by other Middlesbrough fans, but still, that element of uncertainty was creeping in, and that is kind of modern football for you. No matter how well you're doing, if you're not getting results, you're not going to keep your job. It is a results game, but now that the goals are coming through for Michael Carrick's side, the question is, can they be consistent? And if they are consistent, promotion could well be on the cards. It really could. But ladies and gents, if you have enjoyed today's video, please leave a like and subscribe. Let me know how you are feeling about Middlesbrough this season. If you're an opposition fan, have they impressed you when you've played them, or are you scared to play them? Or if you're a Middlesbrough fan, how are you feeling about the current way your season's going? Anyways, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.